They are Northeast Missouri's other boys basketball powerhouse, but this week on their home floor, by virtue of their own tournament, the Clopton Hawks have an opportunity to prove just how for real they really are.
We talk about a brotherhood, and they're believing in each other. They trust each other. I look at, I'm a big stat guy, and we're shooting the ball pretty well right now, in particular inside the arc. But what I like about our shooting is there's, about 68% of the time there's an assist attached to that. So if we're sharing the ball like that, that's a positive. We've also had 5 different guys lead us in scoring this year, so we can be a threat at every position. And now it's pick your poison. But, I take that to the defensive end of the floor, and that's where I got to see some improvement.
And Tony Francis will need to see that quickly, as Clopton's reward for this strong start is an incredibly difficult gauntlet run through its own tournament, with third-ranked Monroe City potentially awaiting in the title game, provided the Hawks can even get there.
It's one game at a time. We take care of business the way we should. There's a really tough test tomorrow night in the fact that Mark Twain hadn't played since the beginning of December. You don't know what they're going to bring. I'm sure that I just told my guys, they're going to be hungry. If you're a ball player and you haven't got to play in a month, you're going to be hungry. If you can take care of business tomorrow night, you got a Class 4 team in Winfield that's receiving votes. They're tall. They've got everybody back from last year but their point guard. I broke them down quite a bit, and they're a really tall task. So when you get past the first round, if you can, the next 2 rounds are just going to be extremely difficult, and we need to see that. If we want to test our mettle and find ways to improve, that's what we've got to have.
That's a really nice build into the postseason, isn't it? Because this almost simulates some of that preparing for the postseason.
Oh, absolutely, and that's how we've handled it, since we've come back off break. And, I think now that there's 6 classes, you've got to win with, I think we have 6 teams in our district. You got to win. If you're one of the top 2 seeds, you get 2 games in the district. You got a sectional and a quarterfinal. You got to win 4 games to go to a Final Four. So we're going to use this week's tournament, then prepare for the Bowling Green tournament. And how can we put 4 really quality games together back to back to back to back in preparation for districts and beyond?
The composition of the competition Clopton will face this week has value as well, especially if it can evoke a bit of edge from these Hawks.
It's a great group of young men. And sometimes, and I go back to my college days, you recruit great young women, and sometimes you almost wish you had a kid that you had to kick out of practice once every 2 or 3 weeks because they're just ornery and that competitive, and they're going to go against you as a coach. And we have really good guys. I love them to death, and I take each one of them as my son. But at the same time, I'd like to see one dude step up and just say, hey, and I'm the guy that you got to go through, and we're working on it.
And coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, we will have extensive coverage not only of all the tournament action at Highland and at Clopton, but other high school boys basketball and the Quincy University Hawks at home tonight in a big one against Southern Indiana. Extended sportscast coming your way tonight at 10. I will see you then.